The glitchiest weapon in the history of FromSoft games is back with what is probably its worst glitch so far. Seriously, who programmed this? Pirate software? This is the type of shit that makes me wanna play Night Rain all the time. Turns out that YouTuber Seriously Casual discovered a game-breaking interaction between the tumble buff bug, which still hasn't been fully patched out of the game, by using the Eclipse Shotel's Ash of War and an arrow type called Pike Bone Arrow, which causes the horrifying effect you're currently seeing on screen. But what exactly is going on here? First of all, the Eclipse Shotel is the only weapon capable of applying Deathlight, a status effect that instantly kills you if procced, all thanks to its Ash of War called Death Flare. It costs the weapon in holy damage and Deathlight buildup. It may sound OP, but it's actually pretty dogshit both in PvE and PvP. In PvE because the enemies are immune to Deathlight, and in PvP because it takes like 1 trillion years to proc the thing. That's when the tumble buff bug comes in. The buff basically applies the effect of any self-buffing weapon to the weapon in your other hand. Before, to perform this, you need to consume a bolus, buffer the Ash of War command while your character is eating, and unequip the weapon in your left hand. If done correctly, the weapon in your right hand will now have the self-buff of your unequipped left hand weapon. This was actually patched out of the game by completely blocking inventory management while in animations. Only problem is that they forgot to apply the block to crouched animations. So yeah, you just have to crouch now. Yeah, very FromSoft of them. So now that you can apply Deathlight on shit once again, Seriously Casual decided to try it on bows and discovered that when using Rain of Arrows with this specific arrow type right here, everything gets fucked up. If you do it with any other arrow type, nothing weird really happens. Yeah, there's going to be build-up of any stat you apply to the bow if you get hit by an arrow, but your character won't spaz out and explode for no reason. So what gives? Turns out that the Pike Bone Arrow has the effect of luring enemies towards them and activating aggro. In order to achieve this, they do it by placing tiny white hitboxes on enemy units that trigger enemy AI. This also applies to player enemies, but since there's no AI, well, nothing fucking happens. Unless the bow is buffed with a status effect. When it's buffed, these tiny white hitboxes will apply Deathlight to the affected unit, just one tick of it. But for some reason, Rain of Arrows glitches the shit out of it and makes the effect go bananas. Applying a fuckton of Deathlight all at once. And since the hitbox of the Pike Bone Arrows is larger than your average Discord mod, while also being completely undodgeable whether you roll or Bloodhound step, escaping it becomes nigh impossible. This game is fucking ass. So, how do you perform this glitch? It works exactly the same way as the old tumble buff. The only difference is that you need to be crouching. First you two-hand Eclipse Shotel, then you eat your favorite candy, you press the Ash of War button right before you put the candy in your gaping jaw, and you quickly enter the menu and unequip the Eclipse Shotel. If you do it correctly, congratulations, you are now a shitter. Fair warning that the glitch looks different when you see another player do it, so if you suddenly see a gamer use sword dance on a bow, yeah, your run is kinda fucked.
Or is it?
How could you possibly defend yourself from this? Well, you know what we do in this channel. We don't cry, we find solutions. Since everyone will most likely use Deathlight, using the Prince of Death puzzle to slow down the inevitable as much as possible is mandatory. We're going to be using a 100% physical block shield with high guard boost to apply Immutable Shield on. Immutable Shield is an incantation that will make your shield basically immune to status effects. If you use Immutable Shield and block while the enemy uses the cursed Rain of Arrows, you will block all of the Deathlight buildup. All of it. Like, seriously, look at this. This is awesome. Remember to not stop blocking in any way though, because... yeah, otherwise you're pretty much fucked. If the dude you're fighting loves to eat crayons on the regular, he will most likely just stand there spamming Rain of Arrows, leaving you enough space to shield poke his ass to death. Similar case if they're using the bone bow instead. You approach with immutable shield and shield poke his ass. Just be careful not to do any other attack because one headshot means death. But what if the guy you're fighting is not a complete moron? What happens then? There's two scenarios to cover. In scenario 1, you reacted too late and the guy already tumbled off the bow. What do? You look for cover and try to cast immutable shield behind said cover. If there's no cover, just cast immutable shield as soon as possible and pray you don't fucking die first. Don't try to run because it will not work. If Rain of Arrows falls near you, it's done. You're fucking dead. Once you have the immutable shield going on, apply pressure to the guy while always keeping your shield up. Cleanrod Knight's sword is a good option for both shield poking and running enemies down, but if you have the Carrion thrusting shield, that can also work. And it may be even better for the task, as you can do running attacks while blocking at the same time. With the Old Lord Talisman, Immutable Shield will last for 40 seconds, while Death Flare lasts for 45 on its own. You are on a time disadvantage of at least 5 seconds by default, and at the most, if the enemy also has the Old Lord Talisman, it's gonna be 18 seconds of disadvantage. But if you can properly apply pressure and cleanse yourself with boluses if needed, you should be fine, both in the case the enemy has either the bone bow or Rain of Arrows. Especially Rain of Arrows, because if you interrupted once, casting it again with someone constantly applying pressure on you is not really easy to do. In scenario 2, the guy is trying to apply the buff, but you react before they can pull it off. Just get your best rushdown weapon like Rakshasa's Great Katana or a halberd and keep going for them no matter what. Be mindful of turns and burns, of course, because they still have the shotgun in the hand, they can just turn around and try to hit you. And just keep stabbing their ass until they eventually go down. This, of course, is not infallible, but it's the best we got at the moment. So having a good shield and 19 points in both intelligence and fate to be able to cast immutable shield is going to be mandatory until this thing is patched. Considering how difficult it can be to pull this off most of the time, the most common scenario is going to be number 2. You will get to the guy before they can properly buff their bow, because once you start seeing that they're trying to buff it, you just run them down. Do not be scared. Do not stand there like an idiot watching, like most PvEers do. Go after the guy. Just go after them, okay? In invasion scenarios, when you're fighting multiple gamers, yeah, you will most likely fucking die. But if you only find one clown trying to be cheeky with this fucking glitch, you know how to fight them now. Just be patient, be proactive actually, be fucking proactive, and fucking stab them in the ass until they die. I honestly cannot believe that after 3 years of this fucking game being released, the Eclipse Shuttle is still fucking shit up, and this covered only this particular glitch. The Leda Sword glitch is probably back. The Magma Blade glitch is probably back as well. So, yeah, absolute doo-doo game. That's about it. See ya.